Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Current blood sugar is at 9 and it's been dropping fairly quickly. So that's a good plus. Last night, my corrections have started to settle down. So my body's probably doing something, but we're getting back to feeling normal. Last night's blood sugars, while they weren't as streamlined as they were mostly in the green area. I came up here and did a blood sugar when I woke, and it was 11 something. Let's see exactly what it was. It was 11.1. 111. Okay. Now, some of you may have known for the past couple of days I've been really struggling with my sugars, that they have been off the chart. Well, let's take a look at today's. Today's magical number is 93% time in range. What a difference 24 hours makes. This is still a little too high for us. But the rest of it, we could be heading to be in range. This has dropped. This was always 10. Now we're back to 8.5. We're going to take this as a win. I don't know why, but we're going to take it as a win. Today, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Right now, we're taking it as a win. I want to discuss today living alone as a labile diabetic. Stay tuned. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Before coming into this facility, no, I'm not going to name the facility because of the respect for the other patrons here. I don't feel it's right. But it's a pretty good facility. Hope to say that. Life for me out in the real world, looking back at it, I wonder how I did it. As we've seen here, since being here in last March, I went through some severe low blood sugars. I went through about 4 of them, in fact, where help had to be obtained. I had a visit to the emergency room twice. I've had time in the intensive care out in Abbotsford. Sorry, I got stuff in my eye. And all that was because my body decided not to behave. Now, I've had different endocrinologists look at my case over the years. And at first, they all agree that, oh, I'm playing with it. And then they come in to start to treat me and find my blood sugars, there's no rhyme or reason. Therefore, I'd be labeled a labile diabetic. And at home it was okay, I have unstable blood sugars. But it was when the fire department and the ambulance started knowing you by first name, that was a real problem. I didn't really appreciate it. I no, I no longer have it. I still look for it. It was around my neck. It was a little button I pressed. I called it, I've fallen and I can't get up button. But the place I was in, we had to move on. And so I was assessed and decided that long-term care was sort of the best for me. Keeping our blood sugars totally in line was great. A couple of years ago, just to begin, seeing these numbers was not something that was feasible. I was at home. I was taking a lot of insulin. And, oh, that's one other thing I should have. I was taking astronomical amounts of insulin here. This is not something that, oh, I can't solve my blood sugars. Oh, you're labile. No, 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 no. You are labile when no treatment has worked. Or I should say no treatment has worked. Where they've tried so many forms of treatment and nothing seems to work. Doesn't mean that there isn't an answer. For me, I will go now for stretches of time where I'll be great. And my doctor kind of joked about it when I saw him last month and said, I don't know what Sandra is complaining about. Every time I see you, the blood sugars are fine. And it's true. I go to see him. So I said, fine, I'll come and see you every single day. I was joking, but it's just coincidence. Now, living alone and having the swings I had, where I'd be fine, I ate, I'd watch exactly what I was eating. I count my carbs. They go over my carbs, and I'd still end up in Royal Columbian, and I knew the whole routine, and it wasn't feasible. I was stuck at Royal Columbian for 9 months because they couldn't figure out what was going on with my body. I was put into high acuity unit because they had no idea what was going on with my body. I don't know how I lived alone. If it wasn't for the great job of the paramedic service and the fire department, I wouldn't have had any luck. My diabetes has always been an issue. And the younger days, a lot of it was the way I was living my life. I worked in a convenience store, and my blood sugars, hell, you had fountain drinks that you could keep drinking all the time. So I can't sort of believe if I had to go through this, how many other people have to go through this? I don't think that every labile diabetic needs to be in a facility. No. My situation got me here. Being a labile isn't an excuse. Oh, well, I can do what I want. I don't have to work because I'm a labile diabetic. You know, I hate to say it, now that I'm getting closer to that golden age of retirement, but I do miss sometimes work. Maybe that's why I delve into YouTube. But, okay. If you think you are a labile diabetic, and there are some telltale signs, you have to get under the care of an endocrinologist, first and foremost. You're going to have to go to diabetes education. You need to be monitored. I have a great team of people working to keep me healthy. You need to have a hospital close by. Now, gotta admit, now, this is the closest I've ever lived to a hospital. And no, I'm not in a hospital. I'm in a long-term care facility. A hospital is just really less than 100 yards away. But you have to have somewhere where you can be treated quickly. Labile doesn't mean that you have all low blood sugars. Doesn't mean you have all high blood sugars. It means that the variable that you could be doing this. And on most individuals, the roller coaster can be explained and solved. A lot of people, it can be what you've eaten, when you're eating. I don't know how I did it all those years. I would be treated and they said, okay, we're going to try this. I'd go see my diabetic nurse. I'd go home and could go days. I got a brand new pump, not this one. It's been a few years now. And I went to got training from my diabetic nurse. Great. Went home and went over just before Christmas. I think it was November I got it. Made it through November, December, and she did a follow-up phone call. I was sicker than a dog. I had the flu, and no, it wasn't a hangover from Christmas. I was sent to emergency. I went to emergency, and that started the 9 months. The doctor said, oh yeah, it looks like we're going to have to keep you in here for a couple of days. Nope. I wasn't there at all for a couple of days. I was there for the majority of the year. In fact, well over 10 years. I think it was probably longer than that, but the doctor, the endo I have now, has known me for 10 years. And his philosophy, same as I, day to day. And being in emergency or in the hospital was not the greatest. Diabetics need to be out. They need to be with someone, a friend, a relative, whatever. Not as a babysitter, but in case things go wrong. And for a while when I had to work and I was living with someone basically out of necessity, I was, how do I put this? A real strain. I don't know how these people lived with me, because it could be into emergencies. So, what to do? Being a labile diabetic starts to make you feel unsafe. I got the button you press. I had a weird alarm by my bed that when this shook an alarm, I would sleep through it. So we put another device on. When it shook, it set off the alarm. In reality, I'm thinking back then, I really should have been in this sort of facility then. I guess coming out to this facility, I lucked out. But being a labile diabetic means you have to be dedicated to your own care. You can't sort of say, well, yes, it's all up to the doctors. I don't want to be in the hospital all the time. I'm often put into the hospital just because people don't know what to do with me. My endo, the last time I was in over there, over Thanksgiving time, was excused from there, or discharged, excused. You're excused, discharged, because I'd be working with my diabetic nurse and him, and I knew where to get help. So basically, I was lying there, sitting there, bored out of my skull. So I was released, but I didn't go to a home. I came back to my room here. Don't want to be over there. If you are a labile diabetic and your endo has decided you are, you have to take responsibility. You have to be more diligent with your diabetes. You can't let things go. Oh, yes, I'm low. Oh, well, I'll eat in a bit. No. Oh, I'm going high. Oh, well, I took some insulin. Yeah, I'll be fine. I learned not to do that. Infections have to be taken care of so quickly. You need to have a sick day plan so that if something comes of it and you do get sick, then you're able to get through it. I survived. You can survive too. Labile diabetes is a condition. Yeah, I've heard that it can be one of the symptom or causes, I'm not sure. But there's been many people say it's being tied in with mental illness. I don't know if that's totally true, but you have to keep an open mind. You have to also be open to getting tests and different sort to find the cause. Because the best place for a diabetic is to be out in the real world. And if you think that you're going to use labile diabetes as an excuse, think again. Life as a labile diabetic is not easy. Being a diabetic is not easy at all. Being a labile diabetic is even worse. So, you have to be adamant. You have to be more aware. You should not be left alone. I'd end up in street corners. People would find me face down in the middle of traffic in two busy intersections, or the intersection of two busy thoroughfares in Vancouver. What's that all about? So, doesn't mean you have to be tied down to someone every 5 minutes, but you have to have supplies with you to deal if your pump gets pulled out. You probably should be on an insulin pump, but I went through many years off an insulin pump. You have to be dedicated to your diabetes. You have to offer solutions. And it may not be the right because I don't have the medical background. That's up to my doctors to decide whether a treatment plan can work or not. So, talk to your doctors. Talk to your diabetic nurse. See if actually you fit into the category of what a labile diabetic is. But till then, if you're even thinking you are, and I mean truly are, don't live alone. Have someone around, especially during the night. I drop during the night. It was weird. And with that, I hope it kind of explained my situation as a labile T1D. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.